Okay. So as we said during the pre-show, I was going to perhaps detour. This
Yeah,
is one of those
totally.
moments where I was going to detour because you brought up your father.
Mhm.
Was he an only child? Did he have siblings? Did the siblings show similar symptoms that he did? And your mother and father, how was that relationship growing up, dealing with his trauma?
Mhm. Yeah. He has a younger sister. My aunt's only 2 years younger than him. Um, and they were, they both took very different paths of how they dealt with their trauma. I think my aunt tried to get help and was much more external in her voicing her need for help, whereas my dad internalized it all. And that's why he self medicated with alcohol. And so he was more successful, however, career wise, and so he would say that he handled it better. However, I don't think that's the case because while he was successful career wise, he was, you know, um, like emotionally harming his kids, myself and my sister. So my aunt didn't have children, but she's a great auntie, and
Hmm.
she loves us as her own. And just because she did not like have her own family and kids, however, that's she experienced so much judgment because of that, which is not fair because
Yeah.
in my opinion she's more mentally healthy
Hmm.
than my dad is. And I've had to literally go no contact with him 5 years ago because things just kept escalating with his own issues that
Yeah.
he refused to deal with. So which is unfortunately, it got worse for him, got better for her.
It's
And so
something.
it's just, yeah, very, very different paths of how they dealt with their trauma. My mom and dad somehow stayed married for like 20 something years and got divorced in 2012. And so that was its own traumatic situation just because my dad leaned on me and kind of treated me as his therapist during that time.
Hmm.
And that was just obviously too much. And so, yeah, he eventually remarried and whatever. But yeah, it was 5 years ago. His alcoholism just came to a head, and I don't want to get into details, but it was just
Okay.
so bad that I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Um, I have, I have now an 8-year old daughter. I'm married, and I was really worried about exposing my own family to,
Hmm.
all that stuff, and so that was a big part of why I had to say like, right, I'm going to set the strongest boundary I've ever had to set. And I didn't want to. Like, that's why it was so traumatizing because I didn't want to. Like, you never want to go no contact with a parent.
Right.
Um, but when it's just so bad, when they are so emotionally volatile that, you know, like they're screaming at your husband in a restaurant, like it's just, I can't deal with that anymore. And so I've had to separate myself, kind of love him from a distance, and you know, hope that he gets the help that he needs. And it's allowed me to heal myself and realize that the way I was raised wasn't right. Just because even though I was raised in bougie Howard County, I had everything I needed physically. Emotionally, it was another story though. So I'm healing from that, and it's a lot easier not having set that boundary,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So I'm now on a path to heal my mom, my sister, and I as a unit. And I'm in the process of pursuing family therapy for the three
Ah.
of us
Okay.
so that we can figure out how to navigate this very strict boundary that we've set. Because I know my mom has a hard time with that at times. Even though she understands, it's still just like weird for her. And so that's my like main goal for this year is to get the three of us some family therapy to really heal from
All
so
that.
much and then
Yeah.
figure out how we can move forward.
I tell friends of mine that have kids. I don't have any kids, but I tell friends of mine that have kids that I recognize that they have some mental health issues. And I say to them all the time, hey, you may think that you're hiding it from your children, but trust me, you aren't, because kids are very perceptive. They're way more perceptive than we give them credit for.
I
And I
agree.
was like, you're going to mess up your kids. Trust me, you're going to mess up your kids. You need to deal with what you're doing through therapy so that you don't pass it on to your kids. And some of them listen because I explain to them like how they will affect their kids in the future. Some, most of the time, it's men of my generation and older, late 30s and older. It's still like trying to hammer home how important therapy is, but they don't get it. They just don't get it.